Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Inside Line Athletics. Everybody's everywhere. We're doing it Zoom again. I get to start out with George Pincock today. Outdoor track season is upon us, but only because the indoor track season championships are over at the conference level for your Lions. How'd you do?
Uh, really proud of our group. Men, third overall, women fifth. Tremendous performances throughout the entire weekend. So,
There was a lot of medals, a lot of surprises. There weren't any in the high jump though, were there?
now it's like I said, Ushan's a guy you can count on. Competed at a really high level, and had a good day. We brought him here, brought him back with the intent on being able to win a conference championship in that event. Um, you know, Sacrificing his opportunity potentially to go to an NCAA championship, but be about the team and do things for the team, and he delivered. So, and
Man,
it's always exciting to watch him jump. A lot of energy behind what he does. He involves the team, he involves the crowd, and everyone in the building is always looking at him when he's jumping.
the flying Sri Lankan Josh Mank put on him. It's a
Yeah,
suit. How did you get him back? I didn't know that. I thought when he was gone that it was from graduation.
yeah, no. So he took, in the transition, there was some questions about his eligibility and what that would look like.
Hmm.
He put himself in the transfer portal the very early part of our transition just to kind of protect himself just in case.
Hmm.
Um, and when you jump as high as he had at that point, that snowballs really quickly and getting a lot of contact.
Well, I'll bet.
Ended up at College Station, did well there for 2 seasons. Graduated in December, and we've always stayed close with him, just wishing him luck, make sure he's doing well. Um, and I think that just kind of played in our favor. Had an indoor season left, and we made it work.
God, what could be better? You and I were just talking about how, like we wanted above 60 or so for all the meets outside. Can you imagine saying, yeah, I'm going to jump, but only in climate controlled circumstances?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Tough.
There'd be a lot more people involved in track and field if they did that.
Yeah, so absolutely agree.
Your
Need for
sprinters
an indoor
did
track.
indeed. Tell us about how the sprinters did, both on men and the women's side.
Yeah, just they've been great for us this year. And when you have an athlete like Ibrahim Fusini, um, everyone kind of looks up to him. But there was a lot of people that did really well. Ibrahim gold medal in the 60 and the 200, followed closely by his teammate and countryman Enoch Fosuhine in the 200. Enoch medaled in the 60. Ogus medaled in the 60. The women's side, Leah Pettis, a fantastic run in the 60-meter dash for a second,
Hmm.
second place. I thought for a minute that she was going to sneak by and get a gold medal there. Um, but she came back in the 200-meter dash, about an hour and a half later, got a gold medal in the 200-meter dash.
Man, that's so hard to do to race at that level competitively in
Yeah.
that short a period of time.
Yeah, you kind of have to plan for some of that. We look at that in training, and our trainings always trying to be mindful that at a championship meet, we're probably racing more than one race.
Yeah.
So we may sacrifice a little bit on performance here and there, but we're ready. We're ready to run the rounds, ready to run the two finals on day two of the meet.
Coach, that brings up such an interesting aspect of track and field that not a lot of people think about. How much time do you need in between races, and do any college athletes do anything back to back?
Yeah, big question. I think ideally you wouldn't want to have multiple races in a day, uh,
Hmm.
but part of the team thing is we're going to have multiple races in a day. We're going to count on a student athlete to help us in two or maybe even three spots.
Hmm.
Uh, I ideally I would like to see an hour 30 minutes, 90 minutes between races. That's usually a safe spot. Um, I've been at meets where that gets down to 35 or 40 minutes,
Yikes.
and that gets pretty tough. And it depends on the race a bit too.
Yeah, the shorter race, it's a quicker recovery.
Yeah, yeah, you don't feel it as much. It's a different
Hmm.
type of tired. You run the quarter mile, you're going to be pretty
You're
lactic. The body's
you're
going to
tired
hurt.
for a while.
Yeah. But something like the 60 meters, it's a little bit more of that central nervous system. Your body feels a little lethargic, just a little heavy in general.
Hmm.
So just different races feel different ways.
All right. What about the folks over on the field events? We got a weight throws getting ready to be replaced by the hammer. You got your shot putters and your discus throwers with lots of room to work with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm excited about that group. We have some returning athletes that made an impact at the conference level last year in the discus.
Hmm.
Um, we've had a great discus coach helping us this through the winter here in a transition in our coaching staff. So we've been fortunate to have an alum, Joe Brown, with us helping out. A guy that was an Olympian who knows the event well. So uh, that group's really latched onto him and is progressing quickly and excited to see what they'll do outdoors.
So, how much of a transition is it for your athletes from indoor to outdoor season? I know it's probably not an awful lot other than the distances.
Yeah, it more or less acts as kind of a good reset point. You go through an entire indoor season, maybe a little nagging injury here or there.
Hmm.
Um, so it is kind of a nice point for us to take a few days off, um, and then kind of back off on training. Things get a little bit easier. We do a little bit more, but a little bit easier.
Hmm.
And that lines up really well with the university and the spring break. So it's kind of just a reset point. We don't have to change much. We just kind of reset and start over. I have to give credit to our athletic trainer, Connor Lewis. He does a fantastic job, kind of an unsung hero on
Hmm.
our staff in our department. You know, almost every athlete that goes on the track or gets in the ring, he's probably the last person to kind of put hands on them and make sure that they're ready to go. So um, he's an unsung hero and is really important in what we do and will help that transition from indoor to outdoor.
Good deal. The first outdoor meet is what, 2, 3 weeks away?
Yeah. So March 20th, we'll head to University of Houston.
It's a little bit easier to find an outdoor meet than an indoor meet, isn't it?
Yeah, they're out there. So, and there's
Um,
a lot of good stuff around here too. We're fortunate we don't have to go far to find good track and field.
So when you see all of the Southland Conference teams at the indoor meet, how much of the success there translates over into the outdoor conference meet that'll be coming up in a couple of months?
I think will be relatively close, right? You take a few events out, you add a few events in. Um, so there might be some flip flop here, flip flop there.
Hmm.
Um, you just never know, right? You could have a team that has 3 or 4 great javelin throwers that they don't get to do anything during the indoor season. Uh, Suddenly now you have 3 or 4 more athletes scoring points at a conference championship. When it's a tight race, that can make a big difference.
Outstanding stuff. Man, I can't wait. I know you can't either. You want to get them all running fast. All right,
Yeah.
listen, hey, we appreciate your time today. It's a little bit chilly out there, but once we get past Easter, that's kind of like the benchmark. There'll be no more snow, no more freeze warnings, no more nothing.
All right. I'm
Um,
I'm holding you to that.
okay, okay, I'll take it. I got 40 days. Well, I got
Yeah.
39 to work with now, right?
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Georgie, thank you so much. And we will see you next week, I am sure, on more of Inside Line Athletics.
Take care, Charlie. Have a good one.
All right, folks. Take care, man. Folks, stick around. We've got more coming up after this. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to more Inside Lion Athletics. I got the big cat himself, Jim Curry, in. He's been busy on a lot of projects, The big annual giving day wrapped up probably overnight. You've got the reclassification going on, lots of pots boiling. You've got I just got an invitation to a dirt turning
Yeah,
on the
moving some dirt.
27th of this month.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, as though you didn't have enough to do, the conference said, hey, we need to meet too and talk about next year. Jim Curry, take it away. You can start
Hey,
wherever
that's
you
it.
want.
Hey, you mentioned the big cat. This is the real big cat
There
here.
he is.
I meant to bring him last time, the Giving Day bobblehead incentive, but he looks pretty good, this Lucky the Lion bobblehead. So yeah, you mentioned Giving Day, a great success. In fact, even some things still kind of trickling in here, even 2 days later. And so
Sure.
appreciate that. But yeah,
Somebody's always late with their checkbook.
hey, it's all good. Hey, it all counts the same, right? And it all
Yeah.
makes the same impact for sure. So, but no, we had set a goal for 200 donors, 200K, and really what I kind of focused on with our team is really that engagement number. I was probably more focused on the 200 donor goal than the dollar limit because
Mm.
again, we've talked about this before. We've got to grow the pride, right? We got to grow the family, and it takes everybody involved to do that. And so we blew past that 200. We're sitting at 287 actually right now. So 13 away from hitting that 300 donor benchmark. To put that into a little bit of context, we only had, I mean, our high water mark in the department for donors in a year was around 350, I think is the number. We obviously exceeded that last year, and we've almost exceeded that in just one day, one initiative. So I think it just continues to speak to the work that's being done to grow the base and to get people involved, and hopefully on our part, continuing to demonstrate great impact in what we're doing. But we appreciate everybody that got involved, and those that have got their bobblehead incentive. Those will be on the way soon. And but no, it was great. But if there's folks that are still interested in getting involved, whether it be checking an email late because we sent a lot of them on Giving Day, so we appreciate the patience with that. But every time we sent an email, we'd see an uptick, right? So it was
Mhm.
clearly working. We all have busy lives, and sometimes we just need that little reminder. But if you're coming back and getting back online, or you're checking your email and you meant, dang it, I meant to get that done. It's still open, so get in there and get us over that 300 donor threshold. But we appreciate everybody that's been involved in it, and we're excited to continue to grow it again in the future.
So the target was 200, and as of this taping at around noon on what day is this? Thursday.
Yep,
Uh, Almost 300 donors, 287. Was that the number you said?
187 donors, and we're just under 150K.
That's
So
great. And
great
and
effort.
there was you had a big jump on the first night too, because before I hit the road was looking in there and saw that it was what, in the 60 range, but the
Yeah.
first day wasn't even over yet. And
Yeah.
then yesterday morning you were like at 130.
Yeah, so we had a few so we had a really good kind of, there was just some of the marketing and just information we put out early. We actually had almost about 20K already in before the day came, and which
Hmm.
was exciting. And then we had a number of matching gifts and challenge gifts that were that was part of the Giving Day initiative. Some
Hmm.
from former players, like your Will Carringtons of the world. So we appreciate that, or other just significant donors. The Philip McLeods, the Robert Rhodes. I'm going to leave someone out, and I apologize. Not going to remember them all, but but the Briscoes. I mean, just we had great support from donors to kind of put forward some challenge and some matching gifts, and then even on the sports specific side with Jeff Olson in softball. So again, great support, and we were able to hit all those. Kip McAllister, I shouldn't leave him out. He's a football alum who's been great for us, and had another matching gift in there as well. So
Hmm.
it was some great folks that got involved and did that. And so as we went through the day, we were able to hit some of those milestones and unlock some additional dollars. So that's where you started to see later in the day the jump, because we had so much support during the day that it was able to unlock some of these gifts. So that was fun. It was great. It's been great.
Man, that's awesome stuff. Well, the next topics will kind of give everybody an idea of how that money is going to be spent because it'll be easy. Reclassification. There's probably not too much to talk about. Y'all are in the middle of all the paperwork and just box checking and form filling that you need to do for that turn-in date on June 1.
Yeah, so we've touched on it before, you know, the impact of the gifts that are coming into Lion Athletics. And, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't, you know, reiterate it again. Like, we wouldn't be in this position without the support we've got, because they've introduced these new objective benchmarks. There's, as I like to say, there's a minimum buy-in, is the way I described it to people here,
Yeah.
with what you're doing in terms of scholarship investment, and just total operating budget. And in order for us to hit those benchmarks, we couldn't have done it without the support we get from donors, particularly on the scholarship side. So we're so grateful and appreciative for that. You know, then kind of moving on from there on the reclass side. So we've got the site visit is in about 10 days. Right after we get back from the spring break. It's spring break here next week. And our report is due at the end of next week. Kind of a quick turn between submission and then on site. So yeah, it's there's a lot of people still working on that. You know, Dr. Brent Donham over on the research side, he chairs the steering committee. He deserves a tremendous amount of just praise and just gratitude for the work that he's doing to lead that group. As we've talked about before, by design, this is supposed to be it is a full campus effort, but the committees that work on this self-study are primarily comprised of people outside of athletics. It is mandated to be chaired by individuals outside of athletics, and that is obviously for very good reason. You know, like Dr. Rudin says, we're not just going D1 in athletics, we're going D1 as a university, and it takes a full team effort, whether you're a donor, an alum, a faculty member, a staff member, to really make this thing go. And so it's reinforced through the process, but thankful for us, we've had great support along the way from all our different stakeholders. But yeah, so that draft is being reviewed right now. There's certainly some edits going in. I asked him on a page count yesterday, kind of where we're sitting at. As expected, we'll be well over 300 pages, probably closer to 400 when it's all said and done.
Oh, man.
It is a pretty exhaustive exercise. I got done meeting with the deans earlier this week. Met with the the leadership teams in enrollment and student affairs this week. That's coming on the heels of SGA, Student Government, and Student Athlete Advisory Committee last week. So it's there's been a lot of full campus effort there, and honestly, we're just grateful in athletics for the support that we get and the work that's being done by individuals across the entire university. So that's
what are those enrollment numbers looking like?
So enrollment's been great.
Yeah.
They've been doing a great job over there, and they just had a Pride preview day this past weekend on Saturday. Another great event. Nichelle and her team always do a great job of dialing up great weather. So that's always nice too. But we saw a number of those folks trickle over to us for the men's game. And
very good.
Again, we had a great crowd on Saturday for the men's game. I know Jaret touched on that in his recap, but yeah, I mean, that was all kind of part of it. So, you know, again, trying to just offer students as a whole, whether you're prospective, current students or alums, you know, this is part of the experience of being a Division I institution, is high-level Division I athletics.
All right, we're going to save something really fun for last, but next up, I think you're just like a week or two away from conference meetings.
Yeah, it's Monday. I've got to go down to the tournament, and we've got athletics director and president meetings while we're down there. It's a short run because everybody's obviously trying to get to the basketball, but some pretty heavy topics. We're going to actually have some time with the NSA president. He'll be joining us via Zoom while we're there, but to kind of talk about what's going on nationally. We'll obviously be talking about some of just the latest updates in the legal cases. He's actually picked up a couple wins on the eligibility rules here lately. So there's some good news there, particularly as it relates to eligibility. But again, we'll get some updates on the antitrust and what's coming next. There's also some discussion about what we're doing in football as a conference. We'll be looking at some goal line technology, goal line camera to help with replay. We'll be looking at some of the coach to player communications through the helmet. So we're looking at some concepts there within the league. And then we'll talk a little bit about basketball scheduling. So looking ahead to next year, basketball scheduling, we'll play all the teams in the conference twice. So 22 conference games, which is a lot of conference games, of course.
Yeah.
But also creates more home games for us as well, which is the design. We've also got some rules in the league now where we're going to start limiting the number of non-D1s that we play in the regular season. So we've been pretty good about that, I would say, over the last few years, Val and Jaret. But that'll be capped or limited now in the regular season. And so really the whole thought process is to continue to elevate basketball and what we're doing in this league. I think we kind of saw this year that basketball is elevated in this league, and we got
no doubt.
Obviously, part of the investment that we're going to make into basketball is going to be a byproduct of what we were able to get done on Giving Day to put them in a better position moving forward. So, but I mean, you look at just the KenPom or some of the metrics that measure basketball success across conferences. The Southland was sitting around 30 a few years ago. They're sitting at 21 right now. I mean, that's an incredible jump as a basketball league. But anybody who's been following and watching this year knows how good the play is across both the men's and the women's side this year.
Where this might be an odd question, but you look at those rankings, and which rankings do you consider mid-major? Because you got, when we first started and we had that low ranking, we're not really in the mid-majors yet. But when you're 21, you're probably in the thick of it.
Yeah, you're definitely in the thick of it then. I mean, we were kind of sitting down like in the high 20s, low 30s as a league for a long time. I would say as you start getting into where we're at, the teens and the low 20s, you're in the conversation. You got kind of the Power Six, and then it kind of expands beyond there. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely there's no question the quality of play across the entire league has gone up. And I think unfortunately for us, and Jaret and Val and I haven't really talked about this dynamic, but in many respects we had some better pieces on both teams than we did last year. But did we level up at the same rate that the rest of the league leveled up? That's what we're going to have to evaluate, right, in the offseason, and then, assess how we go ahead and try to address that. I love the work and the finish, particularly on the men's side, what they did on Monday night. I mean, it would have been easy for them to, get down a long time ago. They didn't. Same thing on the women's side. It would have been easy to kind of hang it up, particularly after you're out of the contention for the tournament, but continuing to fight, play hard, play with the type of grittiness we need. Okay. Now we'll look to see what we got to do to get better moving forward.
When SFA came to visit us, Rob Meyer, who's been with the Lumberjack athletics program for decades, he was telling me that the conference that they came back competitive wise was very different from the conference they left in the first place. And they're not the only school, obviously, that's come home to mama, but they're the first ones that have offered that perspective. Have you gotten that from some of the others in your meetings?
No question. No question. I think it's a different league than it was when we got into it 2 years, almost 3 years ago now.
Sure.
I mean, it's the quality is so much better. So yeah, I mean, so now, but I like it. We're going to raise the bar. We're going to level up. Now we got to respond, right? Now we've got to do our part and match that. And I love that challenge. Let's get after it.
You bet. All right. Hey, just last thing on the conference meetings. If they really want everybody to look forward to those and be totally engaged, just have it down at Daryl's, right?
That's right. You could definitely do that.
Lots of napkins.
We'll definitely go there. I'm definitely going there after.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, we got something exciting coming up towards the end of the month. If the invitation I received says anything, it's the 27th. What are we going to do on the 27th?
Yeah, 27th. So we've set the date for the ground breaking on the event center. It'll be March 27. It is open to the public as well. So there's some information that will be going out more broadly about that. But yeah, excited, really excited about that, of course. If you're driving by that site right now, you'll actually see dirt has moved. You will see a fence. It might have got blown over by the wind the other day, but wind was howling around here. But there's a fence up there right now, and that's for the Buffalo Wild Wings. So there was a release that the university put out the other day about the Buffalo Wild Wings, and just so people kind of understand, that's all fully integrated with this plaza that's being developed at the entrance of the new event center that kind of leads into some pedestrian connectivity to the Buffalo Wild Wings, some other future programming on the retail side that then would be kind of create a walkway through Whitley Hall, back to the campus as well. So there's been a lot of really good design and thought put into, how that space, the type of engagement and interaction and look and feel of that space. That it was something that I know that was really important to Dr. Rudin. And I think the vision for that has really, really come together well. And so I'm excited for people to see kind of his vision come to fruition in terms of just the ability to interact and play and build community, not just with our students, but with our city and the region and anybody who's a guest on our campus. It's going to be I think it's going to be really special.
Good deal. What a way to go out.
Yeah.
Jim, thanks a lot for your time. I know you're busy today, but these are always a blast.
Always fun. You always tell me line up. I'll give you this line up on the way out. All right. So
Deal. Hey, here's the important question for especially people that want to get in late on the giving day. Do you have any luckies left?
We do. There was a good run on them, but there are some remaining, so it's not too late.
Excellent. All right, man. Folks, thanks so much. Jim, go back to work and we'll get on with everybody else. You can see the rest of the program later.
That was good. Thanks, Charlie.
All right, man.
Take care.
Folks, we've got coaches coming up when we return. Keep it here on Inside Line Athletics. See what's next. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to more Inside Line Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. We've had Jim Curry. We have had, who else joined us earlier? Avi Maida did. I think George Pincock did. Now we got Mr. Dolehide. Brian, how about your golf teams? The men have been playing for a month. We're actually down in New Orleans the same time the men's basketball team was. But then you've got the women starting up this weekend, and everybody starts going different ways.
Yeah, that's right. We're looking forward to it. This weekend is going to be great. We've got the girls down in Houston, and we've got the guys down in McAllen for a match play event.
Well, I know which team is almost guaranteed to be warmer than the other. Hey, let's talk about the women first and then get to the match play tournament with the guys. That's so interesting that one of those is coming up. But this is the debut, the spring debut for all of your women.
That's right. Yeah, we've been able to, practice for the last 2 months now. It's been great. The weather wasn't too great at the start of the semester, but we've been able to get out to the course for quite some time now, and we're really excited to get out there and finally compete again.
Anybody find an extra 5 yards on their driver anywhere in the off time, or what are you looking for?
They've all been steady, Marie B, she's been just a stud. She did really well last semester, and really the whole time I've been here, she's been great. So we're really looking forward to watching her and all the other girls compete this weekend down in Houston.
What are your thoughts on how the women will shape up against their conference opponents?
Yeah, I mean, we've been able to, take them out every couple of just about every tournament we've played. So we're looking forward to seeing those teams again that are from the Southland Conference and, stacking our girls up against theirs just about for the next couple of weeks.
Conference. When's the conference match?
We're in mid-April, so we've got about a month and a half before a conference down at Kissing Tree, just north of San Antonio, I believe.
Okay.
Mhm.
Ooh, good hill country courses. Those are pretty.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. So how is this guys match tournament set up? You were telling me earlier that there's not an awful lot of that available for at least during the season for NCAA.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. Where you have a team hosting a match play event, but UTRGV is hosting a match play event with a bunch of schools in our conference, along with Abilene Christian. I think is the only team not in our conference, and
Mhm.
there's 8 teams. We're we're seeded based off of our rankings that are off clipped. So I
Mhm.
believe we're the 6th seed. We're gonna take on UIW first round, so uh, they they put a bit of a beating on us this past week. So we're looking forward to you know um, taking them down here on Monday.
All right. So it's an individual sport, but each team is matched up against one another. Is that what I mean, just to explain to somebody that doesn't golf a lot.
Right. Yeah. So we'll play against UIW, and then since we'll have 5 guys play, they'll have 5 guys play. On Sunday night, we'll choose which guy on our team is going to play which guy on their team,
Okay.
and so on. And then you win your match, you move on, and it's kind of just like bracket style.
Okay. Well, that would make it kind of entertaining, wouldn't it? How many
Yeah,
how many of those did you play in those when you were a collegiate golfer?
I did. Yeah, I played down at FAU, and we always had teams trying to come down to the better weather and um, you know get to play earlier on in the year. So
Hmm.
we joined the we joined a match play event down in Fort Lauderdale every year, which was a lot of fun. So I know the guys will love it, and they'll love winning too.
Good stuff. Hey, you also told me that at so many of the matches that the Lions participate in, you'll see over half of the conference field
Right.
showing up at these on any given week. How does that do you build up rivalries with some of those over the course of a year? I expect you would.
Yeah, I mean we play them so much. Maybe not rivalries uh, per se, but I would say we go out there trying to play our best game, and you know we all believe that when we do have that best game, it's better than all of them. So that's what we're looking to do this weekend.
All right, coach, it's like anybody else's golf game. It comes down to one of two things. Are you good off the tee box, and how's your short game?
Oh,
So if you look at the two Lion teams as a whole, what do they need to work the most on? Short game or long game?
I would say short game always. It doesn't really matter what team, in my opinion. Short game is so important. It builds so much confidence out there. You can always, you know, take a 3 iron or a 2 iron off a tee. You don't always need a hit driver, but you're always going to be around the green. And if you can get up and down, or make some good 10 footers, then you're going to be sitting pretty for sure.
All right. Well, then you and I need to get on a course soon because I need to work on all of that, man. Hey, that's great. Hey, listen, I know the weekend's coming up and y'all are getting ready to hit it. Thanks for giving us your time today, and we'll look forward to updates next week too.
Yeah, of course. Go Lions.
All right, go Lions, everybody. We'll see you in a little bit. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. I've got Jaret von Rosenberg with us now. Like the women, the guys not able to make it into the conference tournament, but there's a flip side to that. We're first out of the gate to get ready for next year, coach, right?
Yeah, and I think sometimes coaches just try to highlight that. That is not a positive. I would rather play into the first week of April and then deal with recruiting during and after the fact. But it's a nature of where we're at this year and what happened. And so we are going to try to take advantage of that extra time, not preparing for games to really be prepared for when the portal opens and just, we've already gotten 2 commitments within the last 72 hours. So we're all full ahead with all the exciting things that we talked about, and the focus totally changes now to from even winning the conference or anything. We have to be playing our best basketball 365 days from this coming week, and we have to win hopefully 2 games if we put ourselves in that position, or however many it takes to win the tournament championship and go to the NCAA tournament.
Coach, can you tell us anything about your signees? I mean,
No,
you
I
may want
cannot.
to wait, but if you can't,
They're committed, so we're not allowed to discuss that names or
can
anything
you?
like that. But
Okay.
a couple guys who've been recruiting, or one guy who've been recruiting a really long time. So excited to get. He's a point guard too, so if you can imagine how excited I was to add one of those to our roster.
Coach, talk about the last 3 games. You got 2 wins out of the last 3 going out. I mean, there would have been a better way. It would have been to make the tournament, but since you didn't, though, it was a good way out with a couple of dubs.
Yeah, and we played well against Incarnate Word. If it wasn't for Bailey and his kind of heroics going 7 for 10 from 3, like it was scouting report errors where we weren't even supposed to let him get shots off. But with that being said, the guy still has made heavily contested. It wasn't like we left him
Hey,
open. He made heavily contested shots. So you got to give him a lot of credit for that. So we played well. Like our team, as bad as the record was, I've already, and I've mentioned this before to you, but I've already gone back earlier than I usually do and started rewatching the season from start to finish, and our team got significantly better. Um, the I think the schedule early did not allow us to win and to learn through winning. All the learning we did was through losing with just the caliber of opponents we played. Um, so I think that hurt us early. It hurt us from taking more steps sooner. And then you look at a schedule, and we liked the home stretch of our schedule. We just didn't do the work early to make it matter.
Fair enough. Coach, we were talking to Jim just a little bit before you, and he said that at the conference meetings coming up, they're looking at basketball schedules and going to 22 so that everybody has a home and away against their conference opponents. If my math is right, that only leaves about 9 games. And then there's conversation about how many non-D1s you play.
Yeah,
Have
it's
you
a
thought
really
about any of this yet?
Yeah, it's a really bad formula. It doesn't make sense to me. What you're trying to achieve, it does not achieve what you're trying to achieve. If you want to have a high RPI, if you want our conference to be, ranked well, the more games you play, there's no strength of schedule. Everyone's playing the same thing, so there's no benefit from a seating standpoint. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to eliminate a lot of non-conference Division One games. Like in this format, we will never play Northern Colorado. We will never play Abilene Christian. We will, like we're not going to play those games that help our league. Those are big wins for us, and big wins for the league.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I don't understand the thinking. I'm sure Jim gave a much more diplomatic answer, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm also not going to sit here and worry about it. It's what's ahead of us. We're never going to be, as it's currently constituted, we're never going to be a 2-bid league, 3-bid league,
Mm-hmm.
an at-large league. So again, it goes back to the same thing I started the call with. Like this is all about now, winning 2, 3, 4 games in March, and that's all that matters. Because
Okay.
that changes our university, that changes our program, it changes everything. When you go dancing for the first time, and I want to be part of that, and I want to do it sooner rather than later.
Hey, I'm okay with that, Coach. You're younger than me.
Yeah.
Hey, so what do you think though on those spare games that you would have? Um, I know you wanted to get a couple of non-D1s, but do you still pursue like the Yukons, like the UTs? A&M
Yeah,
might be
well,
kind of a regular thing.
yeah, there, there's certain things that we have to do financially
Mhm.
for our program, just for the athletic department, which is part of the deal. Why not having so many opportunities? That's why it kind of eliminates those good head-to-head Division One games. Is we're going to play the high major games, and then
Hmm.
we're going to buy some games, and that's it. The schedule's going to be over, and then it's all going to be conference. Uh, you just look around the country, no league does this, plays this many conference games. So, but we'll try.
And
Things could change.
mhm.
There's rumblings of teams possibly dropping out of the league. Like so, I try not to get too caught up with it. Obviously, Jim keeps me and Valerie up to date and ask our opinions, but I can't focus on that, especially after a year like this. I'm just focused on putting together the best team we can put together and moving forward.
Okay. One thing Jim and I were talking about was the level of play in the Southland compared to everybody else. Everybody wants to, when you're this size and you're new to D1, you want to be at least with the mid majors. And the conference wasn't quite there the first couple of years we've been in it, but certainly this year, um, Jim said, and I think I've heard you say it, the conference has been ranked up 22, 21, 20. That's mid major.
Yeah, on some different publications, it's been up to 18, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a totally different league than when we forget when our first year in it. When we announced that we were going Division One, it was a totally different league, and that's I guess 4 years ago now. Or this coming season will be 4 years from that announcement. Um,
Hmm.
it's and so we're learning on the fly. Our roster construction um, has to change, and this is the first. Like we talked about before we went on air, this is the first time we'll be able to be actually recruiting out of the portal, and we have some additional resources and opportunities with all the things we have going at our university. So um, we've had good players. I just think we need more good players and have a deeper roster, if you will.
Right. Nothing wrong with putting in a 1B behind the 1A
Yeah,
when they
exactly.
get into the game. Coach, the groundbreaking for the new arena is going to take place on March 27th. I expect that you and Coach Val are going to want to be on hand for that, huh?
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's really exciting. Um, excuse me. Looking forward to that. The again, like just this whole month and going into April with some things that are going to happen on the NCAA level. It's just an exciting time for us, and um, you know, we're not we're not preparing to go try to go 500 in the league. We're trying to figure out a way to go to the NCAA tournament, and this is the first time it's ever been a reality in this storied university's history at the Division One level. So. Um, our focus is very straight ahead and single minded, and that's just another step towards that direction to help us achieve through recruiting and retention the type of athletes we need to get it done.
I know there's more than one hook on the bait, but Coach, having a new arena coming up in front of you, that's got to excite a few of the guys you're looking to, huh?
No, exactly. Yeah, it's just you just go down a list of everything that and because of this era, it's a 1 year kind of era. So I don't, you know, I'm not even worried about out that far in advance, but I just like the excitement that it brings.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of stuff to get done. I've got to do a much better job than I did this year, and that's my focus again. It's if we open that arena or able to put a banner up in it the first year that it opens, that's what's going to really change things.
Okay, that's a great thought there. Coach, I know your guys are probably already headed out to tournaments right now. What's the immediate aftermath of any season for you and your staff?
Yeah, it's just hitting the road. We got all the regional junior college tournaments, high school state championships, just name it. Once the portal opens, we'll go see actual kids and families, and um, it'll be nonstop. And hopefully we will retain a good amount of players, and just kind of add over the top of that, to improve just our roster overall.
Yeah. Okay. Rose, we could go on forever, but you got to go, and we got somebody lined up behind you. Thank you so much. For the season, it was still a great season because we got to be around college basketball all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that might, stuff we went through as teams, some of our kids this year, life puts it in perspective a little bit. But at the end of the day, it is our job, and you need to perform well at your job. So that's why we need to keep pushing forward and be better.
All right. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck, and go get them. Lions up. If I do this
Go
again, I'm not
Lions.
flipping anybody off. They said that was what it looked like. Go Lions. Go get some ball players, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Owen.
All right. Folks, stick around. We've got Valerie King coming and Brittany Miller still to go on Inside Lion Athletics. Hey, we're back, everybody. More Inside Lion Athletics. I've got Brittany Miller, head coach of the East Texas A&M softball team. And y'all are getting ready to hit the road. Coach, we'll match up down in Hammond and see how you look against the defending Southland Conference champs.
Yeah, we're excited. It's going to be a great start of the weekend. Got some weather down there. We're going to battle on Saturday, so we're going to move up some game times, but we're excited to see what this weekend has and, see where we match up. They got some speed, and obviously they're playing well, so we're excited.
All right, very good. Coach, every sport they always talk about, there's 3 seasons. There's the pre-district, pre-conference, then conference, and then the postseason. Y'all are getting ready to switch from part 1 to part 2 into the conference play. The Sam Houston games you had earlier this week, they're kind of the last jump off into that. Talk about how your team did in those games with the Bearcats, and then get us ready for this one against Southeastern.
The first game against Sam Houston was really good. We had a lot of good pieces that were moving forward. Julia threw really well. We played good defense behind her. We were hitting the ball hard. We just got to come through in clutch situations a little bit more often, but overall it was a pretty clean game. So if we move forward with that same mindset and keep working the process and really just worry about ourselves going into this weekend, we'll be where we need to be. Pitchers just limit the walks and easy runs, we'll call them. But other than that, if our defense shows up and plays, our outfield's doing a really good job, and our offense just keeps stringing them along, we'll be okay.
Coach, I keep seeing highlights. Avi posts them during the games, and it's another Lion going over the fence. How about that long ball power?
Yeah, Sam Houston was crazy because the wind was so strong. It seemed like some of them were just pop-ups on both sides, but they're driving the ball. We got 3 or 4 of them that are really driving the ball, and with only 200-foot fence, it's a little bit easier to get them out.
Coach, the way the team struggled last year into conference play, to get Southeastern right off the bat, are you eager to measure yourself against them and see how far the team's really come?
I think it's exciting. I think that at the end of the day, we got to continue to build and grow and get better throughout the season. So it'll be a good measuring stick to go in to a conference with. But at the end of the day, if we take care of ourselves, then we should be able to come out and just compete. And that's all we're asking them to do. Come out and compete pitch to pitch, inning by inning, and let the chips lay where they are at the end of the game.
Competitively, you want your guys to be the surprise of the league, but who else in the conference has gotten a little bit better on the roster?
I think everybody in our conference gotten stronger. There's a lot of seniors that left last year that graduated, but everybody is moving forward. Obviously, we want to be a conference that gets 2 teams out of it for postseason in the future. So, everybody's getting stronger. Everybody's playing strong competition in preseason to help them get ready for conference.
Okay, your squad, 25 games before conference, is that right?
I think so.
It's
Quite a
pretty,
lot of games.
it's in there.
Yeah.
Do you approach managing the games any differently because they matter so much more?
No, I think you got to stick to the process and everything that we're doing. Obviously, we have more information in regards to what we've done in the past against our conference opponents because you play them every year. But with the way scouting is nowadays, with the synergy that we have, we get to see almost every pitch, if not every pitch, that each team's played and been a part of all year. So at the end of the day, our pitchers got to pitch the ball, our hitters got to see the ball, and our defense got to play defense behind the pitcher.
Is there any facet of that? Like, do the pitchers, do they get more from watching film than a hitter does? Defense is wherever the ball goes.
At the end of the day, it's really up to the individual. Some of the pitchers like watching the other hitters. Some of them like to see where their hitters are hitting the ball. Some of them like to see the swings and misses. So it's really just individual what they like, and they got all the information that they could want and need. So we watched film the other day, and it's different perspective from all 6 of them. So yes.
And then how far back can you go once you're in the routine of conference? Somebody, you go back 2 or 3 or 4 games. If you go back 4 or 5 or 6, they might be a little bit different player back that far.
Oh yeah, and we can watch them from any year that they've been in the system. So we really have like 3 years of data that we can go back and kind of see, Southeastern. And so, a lot of those hitters look a lot different, obviously this year from the last year and the year before. So it's been good just to be able to go back and kind of see some of our pitchers against them last year, and then see how our pitchers have thrown in the last couple weeks. And it'll be good to see how they are this weekend.
How much of your planning is data driven? I mean, are we at Moneyball here yet or what?
There's a component of it, but at the end of the day, like, our mindset has to be stronger. Our mindset of attack and be able to do the best that we can do with what we have. If I'm a curveball pitcher, I can't be afraid of throwing curveballs if the team can hit an outside pitch. I just got to be better with my curveball.
Right.
So yes, the numbers play a part of it and the data plays a part of it. But at the end of the day, if I'm confident in what I'm doing, then I just got to go out there and compete.
All right. Well, I know y'all are getting ready to compete here in Louisiana. We'll catch up with you in Hammond on Friday. Those games are scheduled for 4 and 6 p.m. and those will be available on the Lions Sports Network. Plus, Saturday morning, we're going to be the Dawn Patrol, I understand. 8 a.m. start Saturday.
Yes. Hopefully we'll get in before the thunderstorms hit.
That's what we're trying to avoid. It's the ones, well, golf too. They walk around with metal in their hands in a thunderstorm. It's not a good idea. All right, Coach. So for Lion fans, just to give them a heads up, so you almost alternate week after week like basketball, but after Southeastern this weekend, it's home for a set with A&M Corpus Christi. Any kind of preview on how the Islanders might look this year?
Haven't looked that far ahead. We got Southeastern this weekend, and we're just prepared to get out there and do that this weekend.
All right, Coach. I totally get that, but we'll have a home game next week. Come see the Lions and the Islanders. All right, Coach, get on that bus. We'll see you down in Louisiana tomorrow.
Thank you.
Folks, we got one more to go. Keep it here on Inside Lion Athletics. We'll be back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. One more segment this week of Inside Lion Athletics. And we've got the last coach in is the last one to be on the floor competitively here recently. Last night, Valerie King and the East Texas A&M Lion women wrapped it up down at Northwestern State in Natchitoches. Coach, y'all got in at 1 this morning or so, and you're already headed north to go find some players.
Yep, hitting the road recruiting. So a big weekend for us, still trying to, see some 26s for, future classes, 26, 27s, and then, hitting some junior colleges. So, we've got a lot to do in the next couple weeks.
Coach, we haven't spent too much time talking about just the bones of an annual recruiting effort. How do you manage it? I mean, I'm sure you're not the only member of your staff that's headed somewhere to watch ball players.
Yeah, we're all heading all in different directions today. And we manage it together. It's a team effort. And we, sitting where we sit, we're able to see a ton of kids throughout, the basketball season, high school season, stuff like that, junior college season, which really benefits us. So we're able to get eyes on kids in person, and not just watching film on some kids. So, we've all been able to see a ton of kids and, have been able to make some decisions already, which is good.
So is it kind of like in the movie Gone in 60 Seconds? You've got this big board with all these names and you're trying to find your kid up there. Do you have to be the one that offers, or do your assistants, do they get to do that? I mean, y'all are all in communication, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think once, we all have made a decision on a kid, it can be an offer from, one of the assistants. I'm good with that, but, I think it's once we come to a collective agreement that it's a kid that can help us move the program forward and somebody we want in our program, then we move forward with it.
I guess the review of the year just finished takes less time than planning out for what you need to bring in for the next season.
Yeah, I think, you and I touched on this a little bit last night. I think we kind of know some of our needs right now, and what gaps we need to fill moving forward. And that's what these next couple weeks will do for us.
So I guess that there's going to be a groundbreaking on March 27th to get that arena underway. Talking to Rose, how does that kind of new and upgrade, how does that impact your recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, I think it positively impacts our recruiting. I think it's people see the investment that the university is, putting into athletics, into women's and men's basketball. So, that's always a really good thing to put out into the public. And especially for the Dallas area, for kids to know that, we're serious about basketball. And I think that's a huge, it's a huge benefit to us.
Is anybody going to be at the tournament in Lake Charles, or are you just everybody's off looking for players?
Yeah, we're out recruiting. We've got 3 or 4 days this weekend that we'll be out, and then we'll start it back up again next Tuesday. So I'll be home Sunday afternoon and Monday, and then hit the road again on Tuesday. So, this is always, prime time recruiting. You can get a lot of stuff done here in the next 2 or 3 weeks before the portal opens and all that. So, we've got a lot of ground to cover.
What does the portal look like to you? Is it any different from, what Rose has said on his side? He said, they haven't been into the portal really very much.
Mm-hmm. We did, the past couple years, our first 2 years, we've gotten some good kids out of there, and I think we'll continue to do that. Obviously, like we've said, there's some holes we got to fill. We've got to fill them with experience. So those will be portal or JUCO kids for sure.
International players, do they go to the portal? I mean, if they've had their whole career over in another country, what would it be to them? Can they get it?
I'm sorry.
Can they even get in?
Well, if it's a kid that hasn't been here in the US, at a college, they wouldn't be in the portal. You know, we would just be what we're recruiting over there right now.
Okay.
You know, if they're in a university here, there's multiple of them in the portal each year. So they're
Yeah.
the same as, you know, any other kid that's at a school. They jump in if they're, you know, if they need a change.
You know, we visited about the impact that the portal and then that extra JUCO year have had on the freshman players, but I didn't even think about the internationals. What's the pool internationally looking like these days, and how is the portal impacting that?
I mean, I think the European pool is as good as it's ever been, and probably even better. You know, there's tons of kids over there that want to come to the United States to play basketball, just because of the opportunity. So I don't think that's going away anytime soon. You know, and I mean, it just depends which avenue you want to go. I mean, we have 4, you know, internationals on our team right now, and that's something that we will continue to recruit. You know, I feel like it's given us some success there. But I mean, you just gotta get the kid that is going to help you with what you need to fill. And I mean, it could be a JUCO, it could be an international, it could be a portal kid, it could be a high school kid. So I mean, there's multiple ways to go about it.
Okay, now going all the way back to the high school kids, um, how many are on the radar? How many can be on the radar with all those bodies in the portal?
Yeah, I mean, we signed 3 high school kids in the early signing period. So, and you know, we're extremely happy with them. You know, I think they'll be able to come in and compete. Or we wouldn't have signed them. So, I
Mhm.
mean, there's always high school kids in this time of year that, you know, haven't committed. There's kids that are, you know, maybe coaching changes that kids are getting out of commitment. So there's always high school kids still available at this time too. But I think it's just fit and need.
Are the high school kids becoming almost like the gold nuggets? You really are going to get the best of the best as you can. Um, and there just aren't as many people that are on them like they were before the portal opened up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's taken a toll on some high school kids for sure. You know, and I think you know, the extra years for the junior college kids, I think that's also going to take a toll. Um, but I mean, if you're good and you're seen, you're good enough, you're going to find somewhere to play.
All right. Well, we're going to build a brand new place for them to come do that if they want. Coach, I know you're rolling, so we won't keep you any longer, but appreciate your time today. Good luck and go get us some good ones.
All right, Charlie, thank you.
All right, that's Valerie King, head coach of your East Texas A&M Lion women, and that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Inside Lion Athletics. Thanks to our executive producer, Avi Meda. He's also our cameraman. Does a great job. Coach, be safe, and everybody, listen for us on Friday and Saturday with Lion Softball on the Lion Sports Network, and then next week, we've got a home set with A&M Corpus Christi. We'll see you at the ballpark then.